Hey guys, and welcome back to the Critter Crochet YouTube channel. Now, I know it has been a hot minute and I do apologize for that. So, last November, I ended up moving state and then the holidays happened and I actually just started a new job. So, life has been all over the place, but I do hope that within the next few months I can really start to get back into working on more Critter Crochet stuff because this is my passion, this is what I hope to be a full-time job eventually, and it is something I love to do. So, yeah. Again, I do apologize for being gone for so long. I am blonde now. I'm sorry if that's a shock to some people, but yeah. Today I thought I would start off with a pattern review to kind of get back into things. Reviewing patterns is something that I love to do because, aside from designing patterns, making patterns that other people designed is a lot of fun, and it's also good information to put out there so people either don't waste their money on a pattern that they don't really think will be a fit for them, or they end up buying a pattern that they actually think they might really enjoy based on my thoughts and opinions. And again, like I just said, these are just my own thoughts and opinions of this pattern. If you had purchased this pattern and had some different thoughts and ideas, then please leave it in the comments below and let everyone else know. So today's pattern review is going to be of these adorable shark slippers. So a few months before Christmas, my boyfriend had mentioned that he wanted shark slippers that looked like they were eating his feet. And I was like, that's very descriptive, and I actually have the perfect pattern in mind because a few months before that, I had come across this pattern on Etsy, but I didn't really have a reason to buy it and do it because I'm not a big slipper person, so I personally probably wouldn't wear them. And I don't know. Usually when it comes to buying patterns, I have a little bit of hesitation, and so I didn't buy it then. But after he had mentioned that, I bought it for Christmas, and I continued on to making them. So the pattern does go for $5 on Etsy. I will have both the pattern itself and the Etsy shop linked below. This pattern is by Stacy L. Ratcliffe. I hope I said that right. But yeah, they're just really simple, cute slippers that look like they're eating your feet. So what's not to love? But I will go a little bit more into this pattern, what I liked about it, what I didn't. I have the pattern right here on my computer for me to look at to have it refreshed in my brain a little bit. And let's get started. So the download for this pattern, yes, it is $5, but it includes sizes infant, child, and adult. And then once you go into the adult download, which is the only one I have looked at because it was the only one I really needed, the finished sizes include women's shoe size 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, and 10, and men's 9, 10, and 11, and 12. So I believe the size that I did for this pattern was for the men's 9/10 because that was my boyfriend's foot size. And yeah, so there's a lot of versatility within those $5 that you are buying. Again, I haven't looked at the child or infant sizes, but I'm assuming it is relatively similar to the adult layout of the pattern. So the next thing is going into materials. The pattern calls for Red Heart Super Saver medium worsted weight yarn, and since 99% of my yarn stash is Red Heart Super Saver, I just decided to go with it, and I chose just white with a dark gray that I had. I honestly couldn't tell you the exact name of the color. But I do think the gray I used is much darker than the one that she used in the pattern, so it's kind of up to you. I know some sharks are portrayed being more blue in color or more gray in color, so it is really just a preference thing. It says here that she specifically used gray heather and then just white in Red Heart Super Saver, so you can either do what the pattern specifically says, or you can go out and have a little bit of your own creativity with the color. You're also going to need black buttons. The pattern here requires a 4.5 size button. I don't work with buttons very often, so I kind of just have a little stash of them, and I used what I could find. So the buttons that I used are pretty small and hard to see, but it did its job. So it's also kind of up to you. I would recommend using a bigger size just so that you can really see the eyes show on the side of the body, but I kind of just worked with what I had available. You're also going to need a 4mm crochet hook or the size needed to obtain the gauge. I highly recommend you do the gauge, especially for projects like this, which you'll be wearing. The gauge is there to really make sure that you're getting what the designer is putting out there. So she does include the gauge. I will be honest, I did not do it. I was in a little bit of a time crunch, and I'm telling you guys to do it because the size that I did do, even though it is my boyfriend's shoe size, it did end up being a little too big. So I believe if I had done the gauge and gone down a hook size or two, it probably would have fit his feet a lot better. So throwing that out there, just do the gauge. Set time aside and do it. It'll really benefit you in the long run, I promise. So after the materials and gauge and everything, it goes into the pattern notes and then a special stitch that is used. I really liked how the designer put all this information at the beginning, and I believe that whoever is working on this pattern should read it all before you even start to look at the pattern. That's kind of why it's designed to be at the beginning, so that you get to have as much information as the designer can give you. After that, we're looking at the pattern itself. So you're going to make 2 socks. That's how she describes them. And the socks are crocheted in 1 flat piece. So I believe it starts with the bottom jaw. So you work this entire, the entire foot of the piece is worked in 1. As you can see, it's joined right here. So you start with the bottom jaw, and then you crochet all the way up to the top jaw. It's not really until you hit the sole of the foot that you really have to worry about what foot size you want to work on, but she has it all laid out that you only need to follow the specific foot size that you chose to use, and she makes it pretty easy to follow. And then again, you don't really have to worry about it until the top of the foot and then the top of the jaw. So after all of that, after you work the main part of it, you then do the fins separately. So you'll do the dorsal fin and then you'll do the side fins. And then after that, it's the assembly part. I will take a note that I wish the designer had put a note that there are 2 ways to finish this project. The first one is to sew everything together, and the second one is to kind of crochet everything together. I just wish that she had put a note that there are 2 ways to end this project, because as you scroll down, it immediately goes into the first way to assemble, which is the sewing, and I wish I had known about the second one, which is crocheting everything together, because I do think that that one has a more clean, finished look to it, and it could be on my fault that I didn't scroll down through the entire pattern totally, but I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that made the same mistake, because when it just says assembly and then goes right into how to do it, you kind of just assume that there's only one way to finish this project. So warning out there, If you purchase this pattern, there are 2 ways to assemble this project. And even though I only did the first one because I wanted them to match properly, like I didn't want to do one side sewing and the other not. I would recommend maybe trying the single crocheting it together because I do think it looks nicer at the end. So that's just a little note. Because once you scroll down all the way, it does look like she's finishing the project, and then it goes into, like right at the bottom, an alternate assembly, which I wish she just would have suggested that, hey, there are 2 ways to finish this project. So that's really the only issue I have with the pattern, other than I wish there were more photos. So she has a lot of photos like in the assembly process, which is very important because some of her instructions were not as detailed as I maybe would have liked. So having the photos really helped. But the photos only really come in at the assembly point. I wish that she had had more throughout the pattern, which I understand it can be a little hard, like having all the different sizes involved in everything, but it could be very helpful to some beginner crocheters that just need that extra, like, seeing what it's supposed to look like when it's finished. And I'm not gonna judge people for not having pictures in their patterns. I get it. It's just like a bunch of added extra work that sometimes just doesn't feel needed. I only bring it up because there was a few spots that I remember, especially in like the heel and the toe section, that I wish had pictures that I could reference to. But other than that, overall, it's a pretty solid pattern, and I'm not mad at all that I spent $5 on it, especially since it does come with the infant, child, and adult sizes. And the sizes that were included in the adult version were pretty versatile. So, do I think it was worth the money? Yes. And I mean, it's a fun pattern. I just love the imagery of these slippers eating either your feet or like a loved one's feet. And they're just a cute little thing to make up. It didn't take me very long. I mean, one slipper took me probably an afternoon, so like maybe 3 to 4 hours. I have been told that I am a little faster at crocheting, so obviously it's going to differ between people, but if you really sit down and work on it, this can't take you more than 2 days to get 2 slippers out. And yeah, I really enjoyed working on it, and my boyfriend really liked the end result. He was very happy with it. So yeah, I recommend you guys giving it a shot. This didn't have a difficulty label on it, but I would say anyone could make it. I would say this is a very good project for beginner crocheters wanting to get into like maybe a more advanced pattern, but it is pretty descriptive and everything, so as long as you know your basic stitches, I don't think it would be very difficult at all for anyone. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about this pattern. I did enjoy it. I do recommend it. There are like a few things that I wish were done a little differently with it, but those are also down to my personal taste in patterns and my own opinions on things. So don't let that deter you from doing this pattern if it's something that really interests you, because it is a really cute looking pattern. And yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I do really apologize for my absence here on YouTube and on my blog and all my social media. Life really just got in the way, and I hope I can kind of figure things out to where I can do this more regularly. I did just post a blog post about this pattern review, so if you want to check it out, I'll have that linked below. I also just did a blog post on crocheting beanies. In that blog post, I have sizes from preemie to adult, so if you also want to check that out, I'll have it linked below. I will also have all of my socials linked below, like my Instagram, my TikTok, my Pinterest, like all that good stuff. So, and I also just uploaded the paid pattern of my frog lovey. So if you want to check that out, it is available in all of the Critter Crochet shops, which I'll have those linked below as well. There's lots of links going on. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful and maybe you found your next project to work on. I hope to be back here relatively soon, and I do apologize if I'm not, but it's gonna be a work in progress. So I hope you guys have had a good day, a good week, a good month, a good year so far. It's crazy that we're already in March. So until the next one, happy crafting, stay creative, have fun, and I'll see you guys later.